Hello YouTube audience, today is June the 19th, 2021, the Juneteenth day, and hope you have a happy holiday. And I'm going to do a initial pruning and also very hot pruning on this Hancock coralberry. I reported it in April the 4th this year. It has only been 2 months, and I think the tree is ready for its initial pruning. So it's growing very strong, and the roots has actually grow out of the bottom of the pot, and all the leaves are pushed out and hardened off, and the tree is in a very energetically positive state. And let's see if you can see the roots coming out from the bottom of the pot. Although it has only been repotted for 2 months, it's already doing that. So I think it's time. I think if there is a time to do an initial hard pruning on this tree, I think this would be a good time. Either this month or in the month of July, that would be both good. Because it's taking too much space on my balcony. It's probably also beneficial to reduce the tree significantly to give me some more space. But let's first talk about the tree. So this tree is almost I got a gold mine on this tree, because this tree really has a extremely impressive root base, and nobody in the nursery wants it, so it's in a 50% off section. It's $17 only, and so when I go into a plant nursery, a lot of times the first place I look is the back of the nursery, where there are sales, price reduced trees, because most people go to a plant nursery, they don't know much about plants, not to say anything about bonsai, so they don't know the value of a tree. So the cheapest trees nobody wants are a lot of time the best trees in home nursery. So this is I really got a gold mine here. The plant, it has a very nice spreading root base, but with the top that's that massive, you cannot see the root base. Also, in the bottom of the tree we have a lack of movement. If we can enlarge this, so we have all these straight trunk coming out from the base, and it's relatively lack movement. And if it lack movement in the beginning, it will never develop movement in the end. So today I'm going to correct that, meaning I'm going to get rid of almost 100% of the branches on top, and prune it back to the first movement of the branch. That's going to look very sad on the tree, but because it has so much energy right now, the energy is enough to support all these big canopy, and if I prune it back to no leaves, it's going to explode with the second flush of growth. It's going to recover in no time. So I'm just going to go through all these trunks. It's a clump style, natural clump style, not man-made. It's just naturally grown like that. I'm going to go through all these trunks and remove the trunks above the first movement point. It's very simple, but it requires some guts. Alright, the first one. Second one, the first movement is here. The first branch out is here. So I'm going to cut above it. And then the third branch, I'm just going this way. I'm going to find the first movement in the branch, and I'm going to cut back to it. I'm going to leave a stump because I'm doing major trunk chop. In case it die backs, I'm going to leave a stump for it to die back to, and remove that stump later. And all the branches, simply cut it back to the first movement point. By movement, I mean the trunk turning direction. Okay, so this one, let's see. It's very difficult to see, so let me try to remove some of these cut off top so that it's easier to see what's happening. A lot of people did not choose to buy this plant, maybe because the top is too chaotic. They don't know how to deal with it, but it's actually very simple. If you think about the future development of the tree, because the bottom part has a very beautiful start, we simply need to get it to a better point. This side is very difficult to see what's happening. I can see perfectly what's happening, but in the video it's just messy and it's difficult to see, kind of. I'm trying to get rid of these branches that I pruned off so that it may be easier to see. Probably have already pruned off half of the branches, but it only takes several seconds for me. But it's removing it from the plant. It's probably difficult because it's so entangled. Simply removing the branches that I pruned off from the tree. Coralberry, it's probably going to be proven to be very ideal for bonsai. I don't know why nobody seems to use it, but okay, I've removed the branches I pruned off, so it should be easier to see what's happening in the base. Okay, maybe this side would be easier to see. Yeah, this side would be much easier to see. Okay, I've pruned off half the branches and now it's here. So at this junction, there are 3 branches come off. We must reduce it to 2, or it's going to develop inverse taper. So this one I'm going to remove, although it has a good movement, but it's too thick. There's not much taper, meaning I need this trunk to be thick and this to be thinner, but this is too thick. So I'm actually going to remove this one, again leaving a stump for it to die back to. And then the best movement, so this is a good taper, but this thing doesn't have a good movement. So I'm going to reduce it and try to make it into a branch. Okay. So I'm almost done. So you can see the branches in the back actually has extremely nice movement. Okay, I have my last major branch to prune, which is here. Also, I'm just going to cut it back to the first turn. Just cut off the main branch and leave the turning branch. Okay, so that's that, and I'm simply going to get it back bud very nicely. Okay, and then the work would be to shorten a lot of the branches. To force it to back bud, shorten all these branches. So because the canopy is so chaotic, we actually have a lot of inner branches that's dead. So I'm getting rid of these back branches, dead branches. And I'm selecting the movement, the branches that actually move well. Okay, I'm going to go from the left to the right and simply going to go through each branch and see where I should prune it back to. So the first one, it's pretty nice movement right now. Just need to leave it to develop. The second one, it has a nice curvature, but I would need to try to force it back. So I'm going to cut the tip of the branch and then I'm going to force it to grow back. Okay, this is the second branch. In the future, I could wire it to to make it turn another direction. And now I'm going to go to the third trunk line here. It come up, and here it get into 3, so I would need to get rid of one of the branches. There are some dead branches that I don't need. Just going to reduce it back. It doesn't necessarily be dead, but I just didn't see any leaf on it, so it may be dead. Okay, middle branch is definitely dead. The side branch. So by pruning all these big branches, I'm going to force the growth back to the inner branches. I'm still going to leave a lot of tiny branches to force the sap to flow. The sap will still flow and the branches will be alive. But because we have such an excess of root compared to leaf mass, it's going to explode in its leaf growth. It's going to develop a lot of branches. I'm looking at this one. Let's see. Trying to find the branches that I'm working on the camera. Let's see. I'm just gonna put my hand here. Okay, I find it. It's here. Okay, so you get 90% of the work done in 10% of the time, and the rest is slow. Here it's a little bit busy, and I'm trying to find which branch to keep. I will cut off this side branch because it's blocking the other branch. keep the rest of them. The leaf size of this tree is almost like a Chinese elm, but the leaf feels softer. It doesn't have those edges. Some dead branches here to reduce. Okay, this junction is good. I'm simply going through and see where we have 3 branches at one point and reduce it back to 2. And for very long branches, I'm going to shorten. These are all good. I'm continuing to go up the trunk line. For this fine branching, I probably can use a smaller tool, which is not here currently. So I probably need to continue to use this big concave cutter. Some dead branches. Okay, the rest of this branch is doing okay. Here at the top, it's growing well. Still crossing the other trunk. I'm just going to reduce some of the crossing branches. Other than that, it's all fine. I think this branch is now fine. Nice. Doing nicely. Okay. So I think the 3rd trunk is nicely edited. We're going to go to the 4th, which go to the back of the tree. So here it turned, the first turn, I wanted to, there is that branch on the back I'm going to remove. Turn the first turn, I wanted to turn the 2nd turn, so I'm going to remove it from the 2nd turn on. Okay, so and it moved again to the left, and then I'm going to examine how much of these branches are alive and how much are dead. Maybe untangle some of them. There are some dead branches along the trunk, which is fine. Still need to keep sufficient leaves on each branch to draw sap. don't need all of those, so I'm gonna find a movement point and cut it back too, so that the branch continue moving. You can see a good. Okay, I think the fourth trunk is doing nicely, moving. Okay, so we have a tiny trunk on the back, which make this a 7 trunk tree. That's a nice number, so I'm going to keep it 7. I'm going to reduce this back. I'm going to keep a lot of the long branches of this 7th trunk because it's still very small. A grasshopper here. Let's see. Oh, this branch is dead because it's lack of light, so it's okay. When the canopy is reduced like that, it's going to force a lot of the growth in the inner branches, so it's going to grow new branches very soon. Okay, because we are at the back, let's take a look at this back branch. Let's recenter the camera. We are taking a look on this nicely moving branches on the back. Dead branches I'm going to remove. These are also dead branches. Remove it. So I'm leaving a lot of the branches on this tree because I wanted this trunk to be thicker. So I'm only removing dead branches and also problematic branches. Other than that, I'm going to keep. Okay. So that is it right now. Okay, so this is the 7th. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5th trunk. We have 2 more trunks to deal with, and sorry, I'm distracted because there is a spider on the plant which is hunting a grasshopper. I'm very interested in what's happening in this natural spectacle. Let's see if we can find that. You see? A spider is hunting a grasshopper. Oh, I think the spider lost it. I think without a net, it's difficult to hunt a grasshopper. I think the spider lost its prey. I think. I'm sorry, spider, but your prey is very, very far away now. Okay, let me continue. It's the two animals are on branches that I've already pruned, so it should not affect my pruning. I hope. The grass is climbing. The spider is climbing onto a branch that I'm going to prune. Okay. Let's see. It's on the branches I'm going to prune. Okay, let's focus. So this is the this branch with a lot of movement is the branch that I'm trying to prune. So this branch, I will need to identify where the spider goes. Okay, it's on this branch. So you can see a lot of movement here. And I would need to decide how to prune this. So first I need to decide which branch to take. Okay, the spider has climbed off the branch, so that's good news. Which branch to take as the major trunk line? You can see it go up here with a good taper. It still need to develop a little bit to merge with the lower trunk, but it's going to develop a good taper. Let's see. So now it bifurcates. In this bifurcation, there are two very nice branches that come out. One just goes straight up, but still with a good movement. The other goes sideways, this way in. The spider climbed back up to my branch. So the spider is here. I hope to relocate it a little bit. Relocate it so that it's not on the branch that I'm pruning. But this one is too big, I don't want to touch it. Anyway, I think yes, I think that's the last branch I need to prune. So I just need to make this decision, which will be the major trunk line. They both look pretty good. They both look pretty good. In terms of movement, this branch would move a little bit better. So I can prune the other one. Okay, I can completely prune off the other one. The straight one, can prune the most of it. I lost track where the spider is, so I have to prune it. Okay, prune that off from here. And also this one, I can take it with it. Okay. Let's get rid of most of the problem on this branch. I still need to leave a top branch. Okay, the spider is on the top branch. I'm going to prune that branch off and relocate the spider. Okay, I have you. I'm going to go and relocate the spider. Okay, sorry for the distraction. I think we are at the last branch that we need to prune. The inner branches, a lot of them are dead, which I can get rid of. I'm not wiring this tree at this point yet. I could, but I wanted to flush out strong. before I wire it. These are dead branches I can get rid of. I want it to flush out strongly, and then I will have more branches to wire at that point. So this is just the initial pruning. A lot of the stumps need to get rid of. Trying to prune these so this is really behaving like a Chinese elm, because every place you prune there could be a lot of branches that come out from. So it's one of those plants that may be a little bit too strong, so we need to watch them closely. Or it's going to develop a swelling note. Okay. This is a little bit too clustered. Let's see. Okay. Here, this place. These two branches are crossing. So let me get rid of one. I can shorten this one to get rid of the crossing. Okay, and then on this side there is still a little bit too dense. I can also shorten this branch. Just get rid of a little bit of the density. And the rest of it should be fine. I'm just going to get rid of some of the dead branches. Other than that, it's looking pretty good. This branch I don't need. I think that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to seal some of the big cuts so that if it has sap flow, it doesn't get too much sap flow, lost too much sap. Okay, this is doing pretty nicely. I thought this would take 2 minutes to do, but there is still some fine detail that we need to be added, but I think the pruning is sufficient. Just need to seal some of the cut. And all these stumps are going to be removed. I'm leaving a lot more than I need on this end, these ends of the cut, in case it dies back. I don't want to kill the branch below the cut, so I'm leaving more than I need. All these stumps will be completely removed after the branches below it grow very strongly. At that point, removing the stump will not kill, lead to further die back. Again, this is the initial pruning, so it may be the hardest pruning that the tree will receive in its lifetime, and it's very dramatic, but I don't think it will harm the tree, and it's going to help its development. Currently, it's still a little bit chaotic. The branches are growing all different directions, but later, when it generates a good second flush of growth, I can come back and further wire the tree. But here, what we are going for is the initial movement at the base of the trunk. Once that movement is created, the top branches will be very, very easy to develop. These are just sealants, no very cheap tree wound sealants. The only thing it does is it seal the wounds. It doesn't have any growth hormone to help the wound to heal. Because these are just stumps. I'm not trying to develop it. I'm not trying to heal it. I'm just trying to prevent too much moisture loss. And I think this is it. I can add a little bit of fertilizer to it. This is Osmocote. It's a very high nitrogen. 15. Nitrogen is 15%. So 15, 9, 12. This is a high nitrogen fertilizer. I'm going to add some of these. I already have some in there. I'm just adding more in the peripheral of the pot to help it push out. I don't really care about leaf size. This tree has naturally very small leaf size. It doesn't seem that you would have a way to generate big leaves from this tree. So for trees that have big leaves, you will need to think about ways to reduce the leaf size. But these trees has a naturally small leaf, so I don't need to worry about generating big leaves. Okay, so this is it. Working on deciduous tree, the end result would look very sad, but it's going to help the development in the future. We are going to get back to the front view. Okay, this is the front of the tree. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.